Hi everyone, today we'll be looking at the LEGO Harry Potter 2020 Astronomy Tower, set 75969. This set has 971 pieces and is one of the only sets that went up on LEGO Shop at Home in Australia. It is the largest of the 2020 wave of Harry Potter sets and includes 8 minifigures, 2 less than the Great Hall that was released for the same price point 2 years ago. All 8 minifigures of this set are also exclusive, so let's have a look at them. First up is Harry Potter in his Slug Club dress robes. Harry has a unique torso print and a new leg print which is also featured on Draco Malfoy in this set. It looks very similar to the leg print featured on figures such as Severus Snape and Cedric Diggory. However, unlike that leg print, there is no line in the middle. Here's a better look at all the fine detailing on the front of Harry Potter. And here's a better look at the back printing and alternate face. This isn't the first time we've seen this version of Harry Potter, as another figure was introduced in a book in 2011. Let's have a look at both figures side by side. Now there are some very noticeable differences in being that the newer figure has a lot more detailing. The old figure has 2 lines representing his leg printing and there is no depth or dimension to the figure. The basic design of them, however, is very similar. Both figures have back printing, however the older figure only has 1 line around the top. And here's a look at the alternate faces for each figure. Next up we have Professor Slughorn. This is the first time that Professor Slughorn has featured in an official LEGO set. However, that does not mean we haven't seen him before. In fact, 2 years ago, along with the first wave of Harry Potter LEGO sets, he featured in a Bricktober pack. But we'll have a look at that figure later. This Professor Slughorn has an exclusive face and torso print. He has plain brown legs and back printing. His torso print is very nice and I love the little gold tassels on either side as well as the gold chains on his coat, which is all printed using metallic gold. Here's a look at both of the Slughorn minifigures together. The one on the left is the one that was featured 2 years ago in the Bricktober pack. As you can see, his face printing is pretty identical, but just like the Dolores Umbridge minifigures, the fine lines and details on his face are a lot more defined. He also has a unique torso print, and just like the new Slughorn, does not feature any leg printing. He also came with an additional potions flask. I was surprised to see upon opening and building this set that the new Slughorn does not have the same hairpiece as the old one. They are the same style and look very similar, but however, the older piece is a lot more shiny and has additional light grey printing on the sides. If I turn them around slightly, you can see this a lot clearer. The old version used the same hairpiece as Commissioner Gordon from the LEGO Batman movie minifigure series, and I'm not too sure whether or not the new Slughorn's print is a different recoloring or if it has been used before. And here's a look at the back printing for both of them. I prefer the old face and hair of the Slughorn minifigure, but I think I would have to say that I prefer the new torso print a lot better as there is a lot more fine detailing. Next up is Hermione Granger in her Slug Club dress. Her face is the same as last year's wave of sets, and just like in the Room of Requirement, she has the princess hairpiece. She has a new pink dress printing and silver metallic shoes. Her and Luna in this set are the only ones to have unique leg printing. Here's a better look at the back printing and her alternate face. Her legs are also jewel molded. Here's a look at Luna Lovegood, and it is interesting to note she did not come with a wand for this set. Her hair is the same as all the other figures, and her face is the same as the one that was shown in the Room of Requirement. One thing I did notice about this figure is that the silver detailing creating the ruffles on her dress is a lot fainter than I thought it was. At first I thought the lines would be black rather than this really light silver. It does appear a bit darker on camera, and in person I could barely see it at some angles. Like Hermione, she has a unique leg printing that is also jewel molded. Luna also has really nice back printing, but unfortunately it's hidden by her hair. Next up is Ron Weasley, and he has the same hair that he did in the 2010 and 2011 wave of sets. His face is the same as last year's, and he has a new exclusive torso print. Here's a better look at his back printing and alternate face. Next up is the ever clingy girlfriend of Ron, Lavender Brown. I'm glad she's in this set to complement her 1-1, however I really do not like the lack of leg printing or a skirt piece, as well as the use of the LEGO Friends hairpiece on her. Another reason the figure disappoints me is that she just reused the face of Rey from LEGO Star Wars, which I personally don't think it expresses Lavender Brown's personality very much at all. My main issue with the figure, however, is the choice of hairpiece. From the side, as I'm showing you now, it definitely looks pretty good. However, I do not like the way it looks from the front, and I don't think it's quite curly enough for Lavender Brown. I get why they wanted to use it though, as they wanted to put the pink bow in her hair like in the movie, but I just don't think it represents her accurately at all, especially with the reuse of Rey's face. Here's a better look at her back printing and alternate face. While this is not an official figure, I did want to take a look at my custom Lavender Brown that I made. There is a slight variation between the two Ray faces, however the printing is exactly the same. To use this figure, I took Harry Potter's torso and legs from the collectible minifigure series, as I have several versions of him, Hermione, and Ron's torsos and legs from that series. Now please note this custom figure is not complete yet, as I do want to find a better leg printing in the regular size minifigure legs to match the rest of the figures. However, I did want to show you her with the Pop Stars hairpiece from the collectible minifigure series too. I ordered an additional headpiece for this figure as I wanted to have Lavender Brown in her school robes as well in my collection. This is the same piece that was used for her figure in the LEGO Harry Potter Years 5 through 7 video game. The only difference is it doesn't have the headband that they used in the game. Now on to one of my favourite figures from this set, Neville Longbottom. He is dressed in his waiter uniform and is carrying a tray with a clear glass on it. Taking that tray off, we can have a better look at the torso print. It's interesting to note that Neville, however, does come with a wand, unlike Luna and Draco in this set, despite being only a waiter at the party. Here's a better look at his back printing and alternate face. I love the new face we have for Neville, however if you look closely you can see that mine has some paint chipped off around the left eye. I noticed this when building and took some photos, and I've since contacted LEGO to see if I can get a replacement head, as I do not like the way this looks, especially as I'm collecting them and displaying them. I haven't yet heard back, so I might give them a call next week and see what they can do. And last but not least is another one of my favourite figures in this set, Draco Malfoy. Now, it might be a bit biased that Neville and Draco are my favourite minifigures, as they are some of my favourite characters. However, one of the reasons I love Draco so much is his Slytherin torso print. There is so much detailing on this figure, from the tie to the jumper to the robes themselves. You can definitely see that this tie is supposed to represent the later films, and it has got multiple stripes, unlike the ones from the collectible minifigure series, which only seem to have a few. Once this set is more widely available, I hope to buy some more of these figures so that I can make some more Slytherin students. Draco does not come with a wand in this set and uses a very bright yellow combed over hairpiece. Here's a better look at his back printing and alternate face. Now before we move on to the minifigures, I just wanted to show you these new legs with some of the old torso prints. Originally I thought that these legs would have lined up perfectly with the old torsos. However, as you can see, that's not quite the case. While from far away, I don't think many people would notice, but if you look closely, the robes do not have that grey line that connects with the front of the legs. But there are also some additional creases and dents that don't match up on the robes. Draco's torso definitely has a more streamlined look, and I hope we get to see more of that type of print in all the other houses. Lastly, I wanted to have a look at the new Hedwig mold where she is flying. The body of the owl is pretty similar to the old mold, however these wings just look magnificent. She's definitely got a much larger tail as well. I hope to see some recolors of this owl in the future. In this set we get one mini build, which is the table at the Slug Club party. On the table we have a variety of snacks. We have some waffles, we have some clear cups, some little brown, I'm guessing they're cupcakes and that's icing. It kind of looks like poop, honestly. We've got some biscuits, which kind of remind me of Jammy Dodgers. It's got a red tablecloth, and my favorite part of it is the chocolate fountain on the top. This is all built using one of those flagpole stems, which is poking through the center of the table, and it's very easy to build and looks amazing. The fact that you can tell what it is and it being so small is really impressive. So I'm going to take apart the castle bit by bit to look at each section, and first up is the greenhouse. This is the first thing you build. The roof just pops up on the top. It's not connected by any studs, it just slides in here. Now the glass top has 4 glass panels on it and these 2 gold dragon spears, which I haven't seen before. On one end that is all tiled off and finished, and the other has an exposed plate. For display, I'm going to try and keep that tile at the front to make it look nice and neat. Then you can look through the top of the greenhouse. You can also access it from the back. These windows, I'm pretty sure they open if I can get past the mandrakes. We have a tan door frame and some scissors on the side which Slughorn uses to cut open the plants. Although they weren't featured in the movie, inside you get 4 mandrakes. All 4 of the mandrakes are the same and have the same screaming print. They also have little arms on them. I personally liked the collectible minifigures mandrake that was featured in Neville Longbottom in 2018, but I do really like the prints on these pieces. Inside the greenhouse we have 4 brown plant pots sitting on this little table. From the inside you can push open these windows and have them open at a slant, which I really like. This is the second time we've seen a greenhouse build. The first time was in 2007, and if you would like me to do a comparison between these two greenhouses, let me know in the comments and I will do so. On the door, there is a metallic silver stud and there are some plants outside. There are also some vines hanging on the side of the greenhouse, which I think look really cute. I do wish, however, that it was a bit bigger like the 2007 one and that it had more glass around it. Although I do like this small build. I do think it would be cool though if you did buy two of these sets and then attach the two greenhouses together to make this one even longer, or even bought the pieces for this separately and built another one. The next build you do is this tower. There are some small plants on the outside, a brown door, a cylindrical window, and 4 towers. There are 2 big stickers on either one of these pillars on the front, and 2 windows on either side. Just like lots of the other Harry Potter builds, there are these 2 spikes at the top. There are these green cylindrical pieces at the bottom of the towers, which is the first time a green piece has been used in the tower since 2011. Just like the rest of the modern Hogwarts castles though, there is this ski pole piece at the top. Turning it around on the inside and we can have a better look at what's inside. This tower is supposed to represent the potions classroom. On either side, there are 2 cylindrical pieces where you can add Technic pins to attach to the other buildings. At the top of the building, there is a chandelier using the old candle pieces, and down the bottom we have some translucent pieces to represent potion bottles. In this section of the set as well, there is a potions book. The cover, unfortunately, is a sticker and I found to be quite fiddly, but not nearly as fiddly as this sticker inside to represent the parchment. This book just sits here on one of these little chairs. The roof is slanted down and attached by 2 Technic pins on these grey bricks at the top. I'm not too sure why they didn't do a recolor of this piece in tan to match the rest of the building, but I don't mind it too much as I can't see it from the front. Down the bottom we have 2 cauldrons with some recolors of the ice cream pieces to represent some brewing potions. This effect I think looks really good. There is also some translucent minifigure heads and some 2 round 1x1 pieces around the back. Taking a closer look at this blue one though, you might just be able to see that there is a bug printed on this piece. It is blue like the piece, so it's very faint and hard to see. And the door opens and closes. Honestly, I think the design of this building looks a lot better from the front than it does the back, despite the really neat details. Although I'm rewatching the movies at the moment, I can't off the top of my head remember which part of the castle this is supposed to represent. Now, to show you the final tower, I have had to move quite far back as this thing stands very tall. And even then, you can't quite see the top of the building unless I pan up. Starting with the outside, you can see the Astronomy Tower is very large and very skinny. It looks best when displayed from this side angle, however you can see some of the lanterns from this side. When I zoom in at the top here, you can see that my stickers have been peeling off. Now, I built this castle on Thursday, June the 4th, and these stickers were peeling off yesterday, Friday the 5th, and this is being filmed on the 6th. I have been pressing them down several times and still they keep coming off. It's really starting to bug me. My favorite part of the set is this top half of the tower just because of how much detail there is. If you look closely, the bottom of the tower starts and comes in and goes up. Through the window you can see an astronomy statue. That window is also where a certain character had their downfall. There are a lot of little towers on either side and I love the detailing up here on the outside of the tower. On the inside there is also a nice amount of decoration, as well as some ugly white door frames. As this scene is supposed to represent the Slug Club, there is some nice party decorations, including this nice lantern build using some red recolored pumpkin pieces. Now down here you can also have a look at the nice ugly white door frames that just stick out like a sore thumb. On the right hand side there is a broom and 2 spots for Technic pins to be connected. There are also some of those on the other side. Now these door frames are my least favourite part of this set. Why are they in white? I have no idea, besides the fact that there is not a tan version of the larger door frame as shown on the next level. In fact, they used a tan door frame in the greenhouse. These stick out so much to me that I'm debating either removing them or ordering some tan pieces from Bricklink to replace them. Besides that lantern and the broom though, there is not much else on the first level, so let's move up. On the second level, we have in fact Slughorn's office. Before we take a closer look inside, I just want to point out that these white door frames are 6 wide, which I believe is the reason why they did white for all of them. With a bit of modding, it should be pretty easy to remove them. It also makes it incredibly hard to look inside. From here, you can see an envelope on the top of his desk, and when I pick it up, you can see a lamp on the left-hand side, Slughorn's hourglass in the back, a green bottle, a silver cup, and some sticker bookshelves on the back. Both these stickers are exactly the same. I've pulled one of them out so we can have a closer look at the bookshelf. These were very fiddly to get on, and mine are slightly wonky. It was very hard to re-peel them off as well, as they are recessed inside of the piece. Moving up a level, and we can see the Ravenclaw Tower with a bookshelf and 2 beds. There is also a sticker of the Ravenclaw banner in the background. Inside of the bookshelf, we have a copy of the same Daily Prophet, The Boy Who Lived newspaper, and another green book with a sticker. Once again, my sticker seems to be peeling off. And on the inside, my least favourite fiddly sticker is back. I do love the lime green book though, I think it looks really nice. So inside the Ravenclaw common room, there is a really nice banner sticker hanging in the back. One of the only easy to apply stickers in this set, might I add. There's a small table with a letter and a blue quill, a gold candle next to the bookshelf itself, which is quite hard to get the book out of. I had to tip the castle sideways and shake it a bit, and 2 beds. If you look closely in the renders for this, one of the pillows was white and one of them was teal. I can confirm though with the set it is teal and does not look as bad as I thought it was going to. Now all we're missing is a Slytherin and Hufflepuff common room. Now the top 2 levels are my favourite. Over here we have some tiles over by the lookout, which I'm not completely sure why they are there. And one of my favourite builds from this set is this astronomy figure. It uses the same gold hoop as the Quidditch sets, a silver Technic ball, and this smaller gold round piece, which I haven't seen before. I think it is from Ninjago or is in the new Monkey Kid sets. The only thing I don't like is this white skeleton clip. LEGO seems to have a thing of putting white pieces that don't quite match up in this set, and I don't know why. Especially with this white door frame back here. We all know that the tan ones of these exist. I don't know why they had to put the white one there too. This one I get as it matches the rest of the ones in the set, but the one up against the window, really? You can see that these roof panels are also connected here, and I've got these green cheese slopes. Going up to the very top level, we have a micro build of a microscope using some blue and pink gems. There's also a sticker of this star map or star chart piece, and the tower goes along the side. We get one thick instruction manual that is done the same style as the Hogwarts Express and Clocktower ones and binded by the sides. In the back of the book, it has another promotion for the rest of the sets, and just like the other ones, does not feature Hedwig or the Burrow, and says limited availability. It shows you attaching all 3 of the buildings together and also shows you how to display the rest of Hogwarts. The recommended setup is having the Clocktower, the Great Hall, the Whomping Willow, and then the Astronomy Tower. If you look closely to the bottom, it shows you which buildings to attach them to. However, the Clocktower's buildings have been rearranged to have the Yule Ball on the right-hand side of the tower, unlike the left, which is shown on the box at the top. One thing I also like about the instruction manual and the box is that it has the Clocktower and Great Hall in the background rather than the official Hogwarts castle from the movies, which I thought was a very nice inclusion. Now excuse the poor lighting for this, but I have just tried to put all of the Hogwarts castles together as per the instruction manual. Now this was honestly a nightmare, and I can see the side of the Astronomy Tower. All of these buildings are twisted at such weird angles. I don't recommend this setup at all, and I haven't even put the room of requirement in it. I don't know where to slot it. Dumbledore's office is kind of wrapped around the back. Then we have the Great Hall over here. The Great Hall is then attached to bits and pieces of the Whomping Willow, where then finally on the end you have the Astronomy Tower. But from this angle, you can't even see the greenhouse. After fiddling around with this set for quite some time, I've kind of come up with a layout, which includes the Yule Ball section of the Clocktower attached to the back of the Great Hall, which you can't really see from this angle, but it is back there. Then we have the Great Hall, one small section of the Whomping Willow, the Whomping Willow Bridge, which isn't attached to that Whomping Willow section. Dumbledore's Tower is then attached to the bridge. The Astronomy Tower is then placed in front of Dumbledore's Tower, attached to that entrance. The Clocktower and then the bit of the Whomping Willow with the Gryffindor common room is then placed behind it, with the greenhouse then attached on the far right. I struggled and I tried to place the room of requirement in this model, but it just didn't work. Now, if I had a really deep and wide shelf, I would display the castle like this, as that way none of the interior is showing. I personally don't want that in my model. I want to see all of the exterior. And then I would decorate it with some figures, maybe add some plants and some trees and some rocks to the front of it, as there is a big space for that. But unfortunately, like most people, I don't have a shelf where all of this will fit. I'm probably just going to display it in bits and pieces around different sections on different shelves. I'll try and put as much of it together as I can. But here's a look at how I would personally display it if I did have the space to. It all fits together really nicely, although some of these connection points make some weird angles that I would personally prefer it to stack it so that there is more depth of the castle. But this is the best solution I could come up with using that modular system that LEGO has given us. Overall, I really enjoyed this set. I do like the 8 exclusive minifigures, although I do wish there was a bit more leg printing and some unique faces and some unique hair molds made, especially for Lavender Brown. But the tower on itself really stands out and just looks amazing. The build looks incredible. Although, like I said earlier, those white door frames really annoy me. Overall, I would recommend this set, although for $180, considering you don't get 10 minifigures like you did with the Great Hall, I wouldn't quite recommend it as highly as I would that set. Although, as there are 8 exclusive minifigures and a lot of them are different and unique pieces, I would recommend this more than I would the Burrow straight off the bat. I personally at the moment do not own that set. I plan on getting it next month. But just looking at that, a lot of those figures and those parts are reused. So just based off that, I would recommend the Astronomy Tower. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.